Hi, welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get crafting. For this DIY, I made a printable using Canva, and I will have a link as a free printable for anyone who wants to use it. I've also got a Dollar Tree sign, some antique wax by Waverly, and my white Kills primer. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the little shamrock. I'm actually not going to work with that side. I'm going to cover it with some craft paper, and I'm actually going to use the back and turn it into the front. There was some burlap on the front, but it was on so good I just said, forget it. I'm not going to try to take that off. So I used my white primer paint, and actually I realized, I better draw my shiplap lines first, so I stopped. I actually dried the paint first really quick with a blow dryer so that I could go ahead and do this. And then I'm using a utility knife to actually cut into each of those lines so I see the difference, so they really look like little shiplap planks. And now I'm going back over the one that I did with the paint, and I'm going to finish painting. And I'm doing all my paint in one direction so that it looks like wood grain when I'm done with the whole technique that I'm going to do. I added a second coat, but as you can see, I'm not doing a heavy coverage. I'm letting some of the background peek through, and that's just going to add to what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm going to take the antique wax, and I'm actually going to take a little brush and go through each of those lines that I carved out. And this is a technique that I learned from Jackie at Blessed Beyond Measure, and I will link her channel down in the description box. It's such a cool thing. I take a blending brush, and while it's still wet, and I just kind of go over it and I blur it. And you can see there, it looks kind of funny right now, but it's going to look really good when it's all done. And now I'm taking a screwdriver, I guess, and I'm actually going back through those little lines that I carved out, and this really makes it look like separate pieces of wood. And I absolutely love the way this turned out. I'm going to take my printable, and I'm going to use a technique that I learned from my friend Holly at Hot Humble Pie. I'll leave a link for her channel down in my description box. So you spray a little water around the edges of the printable, and then you go ahead and rip the edges. So that gives it a really nice kind of rustic vintage look. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Aleene's decoupage stuff. It's like a Mod Podge. And I'm going to attach that to my sign. Once I have that attached to the sign, I'm going to go over the top again with some of that decoupage premium liquid. Once that dries, I'm going to take a utility knife and I'm just going to cut through those lines but over the top of the paper, and that way it looks like, again, they're all individual little planks. Now I'm taking my antique wax and I'm going to lightly go over each of those plank lines again on the part of the printable that had not yet been distressed. So I'm going to do that for all of them, and then I'm going to blend it in, and then I'm going to distress the rest of that side because it's so much whiter than the rest of it, and I want to try to make it look, as vintage as possible. I felt like the colors were almost a little too vibrant on my printable, so I added some extra antique wax on there to just dull them a little bit. And I just think that really helped a lot. And then I used a baby wipe to wipe it off, and I kind of kept going back and forth, putting some on, taking it off until I felt like it was distressed enough. Next, it was time to cover the back with my craft paper. So I just cut a piece and then hot glued it and trimmed the edges. And that makes it have such a nice finished look. Plus then you won't see all of the St. Patrick's Day stuff on the back. In my stash, I had this little piece of leather, and it was just perfect to make a hanger, and it just fit the theme, kind of so rustic. So I poked the holes through the craft paper because there were already holes in the sign. I came from the back so that the knots will be in the front, tied the knot on each side, and that's my hanger. I just trimmed the edges, and I think it looks so cute. And now a quick word from our hosts to tell you all about the scavenger hunt and the rules to enter the giveaway.
Today we are excited to be teaming up with 7 talented friends for a viewer scavenger hunt. Let us explain how it works.
All 8 channels will have a DIY video in a playlist with a link to the playlist in our description box below. Watch all 8 videos from the playlist and comment on each.
Each creator will reveal a secret word somewhere during their video. Collect all 8 secret words and email them to us at diyscavengerhunt@gmail.com. The email will be listed in the description box below. We will randomly draw the winner from those who qualify on Saturday, April 24th, 2021. The winner will be announced on our community tabs.
Follow the treasure map through all 8 channels and you could win the ultimate treasure of a Cricut Joy and tool set. We are sorry, but due to shipping issues, the contest is limited to the continental United States. Good luck, y'all!
I hope you'll consider joining me on YouTube by hitting the red subscribe button and then turning on the notification bell so you always know when I have a new video coming up. I do all kinds of DIYs in different styles. There's something for everyone. Spring DIYs are so much fun. So I used this little garden edging from the Dollar Tree, and then there's also this gather sign I got at the Target dollar spot. That wreath that you saw is for a different DIY. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I first started. I'm using my tin snips to take off all the edges and trim down this little garden edging, and those tin snips are amazing. I will link that down in the description box. I love them. And I'm just going to, shape it to the size that I want it to be. I don't know if you noticed, but I accidentally broke the piece on the top, so I'm going to hot glue it on both sides to get that thing to stay, and that does take care of it, by the way, so it worked out perfectly. I'm going to use my Kills white primer to heavily dry brush. I wouldn't even say it's a dry brush, it's a pretty wet brush, the front and back of the little garden edging. I wanted it to have a different look than just the black. Now I will struggle with this later, you'll see, because of the gather sign and how it doesn't show up really well, but we'll take care of that as we go. In the meantime, I love the way this looks. It's so pretty. Now I'm going to take my gather sign and I want to make it look like galvanized metal instead of just super shiny. So I'm going to use a little makeup sponge. First thing I'm going to do is take the Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, which is black. I'm going to dab it all over the sign until I have enough on there to make me feel like it looks good. And then I'm going to take my plaster color chalk paint and I'm going to put that all over, do the exact same thing. Next, I'm going to take my elephant color chalk paint, which is like a gray, and I'm going to do the same thing with that one. And then after that's done, I'm going to take my metallic silver and I'm going to do the same thing. And then I get the look that I'm hoping for, and it really does come out good. I learned this from a channel called Chalk It Up Fancy, and I will put their link in my description box as well. I'm going to use some Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel to create a bit of a rusted look. So I'm just going to put it around the edges of the letters, and it really does give it that, rust-worn look. It's a very cool technique. Now for the fun part, figuring out how I want to assemble this. I have this really cool twine ribbon from burlapfabrics.com, which I will put all the information in my description box. And I've also got these little lavender picks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of stretch out the lavender so they spread out a little bit, trim off anything I don't like on there. And then I'm going to wrap that little twine ribbon around the bottom. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this ribbon. Thank you so much for sending this to me, burlapfabrics.com. I am loving it. It's so unusual and it's just the coolest. Now I'm going to hot glue my little bundle of lavender down to the bottom of the center of this little edging, and it looks so good, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm really excited about this one. And I'm going to attach my little gather metal sign to the center of the bottom of the bouquet where that really cool ribbon is. Now this is where I started struggling because you can't hardly read the gather sign, and I just didn't think about that. I'm tacking down the little lavender plants so that they stay exactly where I want them to go. And I decided to add a little bit more lavender in the center because I felt like it was just missing something right there. I have this really cool wide ribbon that burlapfabrics.com sent me, and I'm going to put that in the back. I think that's going to look really good. My first attempt to make the gather sign stand out is to put a little bit of a lighter color over it. It doesn't really work. I'm going to go back over some of that edging with a little bit of my black paint. Next, I'm going to hot glue that wide ribbon to the back and just make sure it's nice and secure. There's a little bit of excess hanging over on both sides, so I'm going to trim that off. In case I decide to hang this, I'm just going to add a little bit of jute twine around the back, make a knot, and glue it to that little piece in the back. And that's so simple, it'll just make it hang and you can't even see it. Okay, so I'm still struggling with seeing this gather sign, so now I'm trying the black paint and I'm putting it all around the edges. That really does help, actually. That is making it stand out a little better. But then I got a teeny bit heavy-handed with it, so I have to go back in with the elephant and cover up where I got too many black blotches. When you see the final reveal on this one, you'll see that I added a little bit of the celery colored paint, and that actually finally did the trick. Did you know that I'm on social media? You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Same name, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. Come on over and say hi. I got this wire wreath at Target Dollar Spot, and I don't want to use the flowers for this. I just want to use the rings, so I'm going to pry them off. They had them wrapped in this heavy-duty little metal thing. It took some serious muscle, but I did it. And now I can use this to create my next project. I'm going to take some lavender picks, and in case you're wondering, my secret word is lavender. So now you know. Keep watching because I want you to see what I make next, but that is my secret word for today. And that's for the scavenger hunt. Now I'm going to paint this ring black with my ink Waverly chalk paint, both sides of course, and I just love the way that looks. I think that just really nice. I love the original color, but it just isn't going to go with what I'm trying to do today. I'm going to remove the tag and trim down my little lavender pick, which I did get at the Dollar Tree, by the way. They have some pretty good ones this year. I also like the ones at Walmart too. Now I've got this really cute striped ribbon from burlapfabrics.com, and I'm going to use this throughout this particular DIY. I absolutely love this ribbon, and of course I will have a link down in the description box. And of course I'm using my tin snips to cut these, which I love. They are so handy. I'm going to take a little piece of jute twine and just tie my pieces of lavender together. I want them to have the look like they're hanging, like when you hang dried flowers. So I'm just going to do that, wrap around the excess little bit of twine and hot glue it down. I'm going to fan out my pieces of lavender so that they kind of fill the entire ring. And then I'm going to take that adorable ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the ring 3 different places, at the bottom, in the middle, and towards the top. And I think it just looks so cute. Sometimes you wrap around the whole ring, but I just wanted to add some accents because I want the lavender to be the focal point. And now I'm just trimming the excess that might show through. Now that I've got the ribbon wrapped around 3 times, I'm going to take some more of that same ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the very bottom of my little bouquet of lavender. I just thought that would look really cute. And I'm going to hot glue it down. And then after that's done, I'm going to position it on the ring and then I can hang it like upside down and it looks so cute. It's very lightweight, so I can just use hot glue to attach it and it's going to stay just fine. And because I love this ribbon so much, I'm going to cut a little piece that I can wrap around at the very top, and then I will add a little bit of jute twine behind it and hide the hanger so it looks like the cute ribbon is the hanger, but really the jute twine behind it is. And I love doing that. It just makes it look so finished, but not secure to hang it by that really. So by putting the jute on there, it really does help make it secure. And to make the back look finished off, I'm going to cut another small piece of that ribbon and I'm going to cover the knot right over the back of the jute twine, and then all you'll see is the little hanger. And that is just so perfect. It looks much more finished now. Now, honestly, anyone could stop right here. Well, except me, of course. So I'm going to take some jute twine, wrap it around, and I'm going to make it just a little kind of a messy bow with it. I'm going to tie it around the middle, cut open the loops and trim it, and I'm just going to hot glue it right to the center of where the gathering is of the lavender. And then I will be done, believe it or not. But I think this turned out so cute. I really love it. I've enjoyed doing all the lavender projects today. Don't forget that lavender is my word, and you will add that to the other 7 words and then send that email to DIYscavengerhunt@gmail.com. The link to the playlist to see all the other 7 videos is going to be in my description box. So when you're done with my video, go ahead and leave me a comment. Go on and watch the next 7 videos in the playlist and then gather all of your words and send that email off. I would love for you to be the one to win the Cricut Joy and the Cricut tools. How exciting would that be? If you came here from one of the other channels, welcome. I'm so happy to meet you, and I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel too. I want to thank the hosts, Crafting Cousins, Krafty Leeny, and DIY with Nadia for inviting me to join in this scavenger hunt. What a fun thing to do. And now for one last look at all 3 of my DIYs today. I really enjoyed making these. Lavender is one of my favorite flowers, so that's why I did pick the word lavender. And I just love the way they all turned out. They're all unique and they're all lots of fun. And you know, they really weren't hard. There were just a couple extra steps in each one, but really it wasn't difficult. I really believe you could do it. I hope you'll try it. Let me know if you decide that you're going to. Don't forget to check out my description box below. It's got the link to the playlist and all kinds of things. And to let me know that you're still here at the end, leave me a star down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the time that you take to watch my videos. It means so much. I will hope to see you in my next video, and please remember that you are a blessing to me.